Hello, party people. All right. So today I wanted to have a chat about a lot of the, right? We have our expectations, right? We back on that. But I want to talk about the expectations that we have for other people and then the expectations we have on ourselves, right? Because sometimes we go through life and we're like, why that person do that like that? Why is that person doing this thing a specific way? And in reality, it comes up to the point where we talk about, is it something we were taught to do? And in reality, that expectation, right, is judgment, because now when we look at people, we judge them for what they do, and the minute they don't do it the way we want them to do it or the way we think that they should do it, it's automatically, did you see what that person did? Did you see how she was dressed? You see what she was wearing? Do she really think that was appropriate? Now, at this point in our life, right? Adults, when we get dressed and we walk out our house, it's very intentional. People put on clothes that they want, that they sure thought was cute before they walked about that door. But then somebody else comes along, Captain Judge, talking about, you see what she got on? But if some, or he, right? If they're comfortable, who are we to judge, and why are we judging somebody else for what they wear? And I'm gonna say for me, because I'm always talking about what I do. Like, I used to be the first person, like, oh my God, like, how? First, I got two judgments, right? One is like, why she wear that? Like, oh my God. Or, girl, you got more confidence than me, because good Lord, I would have never ever put that on. Like, no, ma'am. No, 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 no. But yet again, it's what we, how we look at ourselves compared to how other people look at themselves, right? Your confidence speaks power over what you do for you. And sometimes that confidence gets shaken because somebody else doesn't think that you look good, or somebody else makes a comment about your outfit. And how many people are willing to stand strong in their ideas, their thought process, their look, and not let nobody else turn them away? Because you got to be damn confident to come out in the streets and wear whatever you want and know that you look good. But then somebody be like, girl, why you put that on? After you spend 2 hours looking for the same, thinking you was cute in this outfit. Do you keep rolling with your head high, or do you continue to let them play you down and then you cover up, or you go home and change, or you never wear that outfit again? But I know for me, I'm talking for a woman, right? But men, is it the same for y'all? Like, you go out and you're like, oh, I look good. And somebody be like, bro, what you got on? And then you like, no, I mean, this
Well,
paid
it's
a lot of money for this.
well, I know when you get comfortable in a relationship, you tend to lower your standards.
Is that a thing though?
It shouldn't be a thing, but it is a thing.
Okay.
It shouldn't, and you see that even when you recall when I went to go get fitted for my suit when we got married,
Hmm.
and the guy's like, "Hey, you got to think about it. You're probably going to gain a little bit of weight after you get married." I'm like, "No, man, not me." He said, "Okay, man, you're gonna get comfortable
Dang.
and you're gonna gain a little weight."
And
But it shouldn't be that way because, as I always tell people, what it takes to get a girl is what it takes to keep them. So if you looked a certain way, if you act a certain way, then you should continue to do that. Now, expectation, I would say you should always keep yourself up there, no matter the status of being in a relationship or whatever, because you should be doing it for yourself.
yep.
And I know that you tend to let it go until you see somebody else, and you're like, "Oh my goodness, look at me! I let my guard down," and you should never do that. So expectation is there, but a lot of times you don't really think about it until somebody's looking at you. You see their reaction. You're like,
Yeah.
"What are you looking at?" And you're
That
looking at
judgment, right? Not the
oh wow,
expectations, the judgment, because that
yeah, exactly.
expectation was out the window. Well, I mean, I guess they'd be like, yo, I wouldn't thought you would have wore that.
Yeah,
But if you're comfortable in something, why are we changing for other people? That's the question. If you are comfortable where you are, what you're doing, how you did it, when you did it, why are you allowing society, because that's really what it is, to tell you that's not okay? And that goes for like weight and anything you want, how you change your hair, how you, if you ain't got no hair, society be like, you don't look good with your hair like that. Who are you to tell me I don't look good with my hair like this? Like if I thought I looked great, like let me be great. If I'm not comfortable, damn, you just knocked me off my pedestal because I was trying to get comfortable, and now you done pointed out my defect, my crooked head or something, and now I got no confidence. But that's the problem. People, we are not
oh,
strong in our own confidence in order to stand in our power and own what the choices we make. I mean, yeah, sometimes we make some dumb choices, and it's okay for somebody to be like, no, that ain't okay. Like that was not okay, but we'll learn from next time, right? So your expectations on yourself, right? We are our biggest judge. We are so hard on self, and that inner critic that tells you, don't put that out there. They ain't gonna listen to you. They're not gonna hear what you have to say. Sometimes you gotta tell that inner critic to be quiet, because that's self telling self, I'm not good enough to have this thing that was given to me. I'm not good enough for this gift. If somebody tries to assist you on the way, be like, why are you trying to help me? I ain't going nowhere. I'm not doing anything. That inner self critic is what holds everybody back. And it comes to the point where you have to tell yourself, when are you going to allow yourself to grow and be better, right? Because you want more, you want to do more, but then you're like, I can't do that. Who's to say you can't? Like, where is that? Is that written down somewhere saying Reginald Butler cannot do this? Is it somewhere stating that that specific person cannot accomplish that thing you set out to do? It's you. So the moment you set out to do something, stand in that and own it, right? Make sure it's written down, like, this is what I'm going to do. And don't worry about the time frame. And that's what people get caught up on. They want to do something and they be like, man, it's been 2 years. I still ain't got it done. Okay. What is the action you're taking to get that thing? Or are you expecting it to come to you? What are we
I
doing?
think you just hit it because a lot of people expect it to come to them, and then they're waiting. And I even had a discussion not too long ago about putting religion into the mix. Talking about, well, it's God's will. Yeah, it is God's will, but you have to. At least this is what I say. You have to meet Him halfway. You got to do
Yes.
your part too. If you do your part, then I'm sure He'll help you get there. But just to say, pray about it. I got you pray about it. But if you're not doing anything, like, Lord, I wish you would just help me get a job, but you're not even out looking for a job.
Yes. The action part. That's the word, action. Like I need a whiteboard or a thing on the top saying action, right? It's
Yes.
the action you take to get what you want. The minute you sit there and don't put forth, okay, so you say, one, God, please help me find a job, right? God, please help me find a job. I got a job yet. Or you can get on everybody always on their damn phone, get on your phone, start looking at jobs, looking at what's available, looking at what's out there, call places. Are y'all hiring? And this thought process where people think that I can't ever work at that place, I can't ever do that, I can't ever get this, I can't ever get that. That right there means you will never get that, because you continuously set it out there that you will never get that. The place is calling for a degree.
It's
I don't
like
have.
they're already placing obstacles in their way that
Yeah,
that are not normally there.
yeah,
So
100%.
I even had a conversation recently. It was like, oh, I can't do this because I don't have the money to do it. I know that you Who was that?
Go ahead. I didn't say anything.
Oh, there's a little bit of feedback. So they place those obstacles right in front of them that shouldn't be there.
Yep.
Because if they want it bad enough, they wouldn't bring up all these excuses about the reason why they can't have this.
Yeah.
And another thing is, just like losing weight, just like everything else, if you don't have it written down, if you have nothing to track, or if you don't have to say, hey, how do I get there? Because there's a lot of times, which I've noticed, a lot of your great thoughts that you have or the things that you want to do, most of the time, you don't do it because you don't write it down. And it's not until when somebody brings it up that you're just like, oh, yeah, I wanted to do that. I mean, I have a lot of conversations with random people, from family and friends to coworkers or whatever. Why? Because I guess I like to talk now, and I didn't used to like talking. But because it amazes me how people want such a quick fix to something.
Mm-hmm.
And even me, I tend to do it's like, man, I've been on that diet for 2 weeks. I haven't only lost a pound. And then I say, well, babe, what do you think about this diet? Look at this. I just watched this on TikTok or YouTube, and this. Let's try this. But I have witnessed. This is one person that I watch on YouTube. He's in what I call the politic world.
Mm-hmm.
But I've been watching him for about a year or what have you.
Okay.
And when I first started watching him, he only had about 50,000 views.
Okay.
Or viewers. And now he has about 1.6. And I said, wow, I knew he was good when I first started watching him.
Yeah.
But if he didn't know I was watching him,
yep.
Just like people out there, you don't know who's watching you.
Yep. And
if you quit, some people can't wait for you to quit.
Exactly.
Because it's going to make them feel good. Well, I knew he wasn't going to do it. But exactly. This guy never stopped. And now I see this even for these lives. It may only take 1, 2, 3, 6. We'll have 10 next month or what have you. And then it just keep growing. You're like, oh my goodness. You walked away, you left the scene, you came back, and now they're at 100,000.
Yep.
And you ask yourself, oh my goodness, what did they do that I didn't do?
Consistency.
Exactly. Consistency, and they didn't quit. They just kept going.
Yep.
There's a guy that I see every single morning when I go to work. And he's out walking. And he's a pretty good sized man. And I'm sure other people's like, oh, when is he going to lose some weight? First of all, you don't even know how much he's a pretty good sized man. But he could be losing 5 pounds, 6, 7 pounds, slowly losing the weight. But if they just stop watching him a year from now, 6 months from now, he's probably going to lose a lot of weight. But people will expect you to quit. It's like, why? Well, I've been watching you for 3 months.
Yep.
Do you think you have lost any weight?
What have you done?
Really?
What have you done?
What have you done? What are you doing? Maybe it's your diet, maybe this and that. And then what does a person do?
Quit.
They quit.
Because everybody else has an opinion on them.
That's right.
So that takes me to my next thought process, right? The unknown, stepping into the unknown, not knowing where to go when you want something. And that quitting, right? Because you don't know how you're going to get there. So you choose the safe zone. That's what we'll call it, right? Because you want this big, extravagant thing and you know you want it. You know you can get it. But that unknown to get you across the bridge, right? Because there ain't no bridge. You want to get across and you want to build a bridge to get across there. That unknown space that we sit in fills with doubt, right? Because it piles up so high. You doubt that you can get it because, oh, I waited too long. Or I didn't take that chance when I had a chance. Oh, I let that person do it before me. Or it's always or something, right? So if you took that idea and focused on it, just focus on it. And every time you get an idea to do a little more and do a little more, the speed of how you get there, like the rabbit and the hare, right? I mean, the hare, Lord, the rabbit and the turtle, when they racing and how the rabbit thought he was so cute. He stopped, he flying, and the turtle just kept on trucking. He ran his own race. It wasn't about the rabbit and what the rabbit was doing. He just kept running his own race. If we were like that turtle and we just kept going with what we wanted to do and not allow the talkers on the side to deter us. And for me, that you shared a YouTube video with me about, it started out with Steve Harvey, and then there was a bunch of other people talking. So I don't know who specifically was talking, but when we listen to other people tell us, they come in with their negativity. And that's my biggest thing, right? Don't come to me with your negative thought process, your negative thinking, your negative ideas, because in reality, I don't care about your thoughts and your ideas because they don't benefit me. They don't do nothing for me. They're just words. And in reality, I can't turn those words into anything more than nothing because of the fact that they don't take me anywhere. And everybody, family and friends, always feel like they have the right to put their opinions on you and what you're doing. And the minute you don't listen to them, they want to know, oh, what's wrong with you? Why are you acting like that? What? You're changing, right? You're changing. You're not the person I know, in new relationships, that girl you with, she changing you. In any instance, you're like, yes, I'm proud to have changed. And anybody who chooses to stop you from what you want to do, they're just dream crushers. That's what they are. They're dream crushers because they don't allow you to grow. And the minute you try to grow, the brick wall, right? That brick wall they don't put up. You think you're better than us. You think you're too good for me now? That's what that is. So for me, what does it take, right? How long does it take for you to decide when you're going to stop listening to the outside and focus on your goals?
You won't stop until you either get hurt, someone lets you down, or something happens. A lot of times, most people don't see it until something bad goes wrong or something didn't come out the way that they wanted.
I don't understand what you mean.
So when does people change? When do they stop listening to these negative people?
Yeah.
It's normally when someone gets burnt, I guess.
So say instance, right? Because I that's kind of it was kind of broad. I'm not sure what you're saying. So you're saying that they stop when that person that keeps talking to them isn't there for them?
Yes, either that they reaching back and like, well, I've been there for you. You're not there for me. Then you start to wake up and see that, well, maybe this wasn't. You really start thinking about your surroundings based off of you not getting
your friends and who you keep around you.
Yes, who you keep around you.
The question is, when do you what if you don't? What if you've always listened to the failure, right? So at this point, people, that's all they've been around, right? We can't do this negativity, all of this. It's a place where the come up has to be bigger than where you want to stay, right? That drive has to be stronger than that bond to say, oh, this is my bro, right? Like this is my family. They know what they're talking about. They know what they've been there for me. But because that word family, does that mean they've been there for you, or that's your comfort zone, right? They're always going to be your family. If you do not entertain their negativity, tomorrow they're still going to be your family. If you do not listen to what they have to say, they will always be your family. right? Because it doesn't change. Where they're connected to you does not change. It's what you choose to listen to is what's supposed to change. You don't understand?
Yes, I understand.
So
I would like to. So here recently, I had a conversation. I know always use these conversations that I'm having with people, but one of them said something to me that I don't think I'll forget.
Okay.
One, a lot of times that person doesn't know that they're negative,
Okay.
or that, and if you don't voice your opinion about it to them or how you feel or the things that they're doing, they're never going to know because, as you were saying, that they've always been that way. So I actually had to bring that up. It's like, you don't do this or you don't do that. You don't call me. You don't check on me. You don't. But yet I'm always the one that's checking on you, calling random people or what have you. It's always been that way.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't really notice until you bring it up. You said, do you realize? And then it really checks yourself too. Like, it checked me. I was like, wait a second. I'm saying that this person haven't done this, but I haven't done it either. So I really can't point the finger at them for everything unless I point the finger at myself too and say, wait a second.
But it's a area of comfortability, and it's what you guys are used to doing, right? Because it could be a family, a friend, y'all grew up in the same manner. It takes somebody else outside to, like, that's not okay, right? Like, that is not okay. But it's what you're willing to do after that. It's what you're willing to do when you realize it. Are you continuing to sit in the same place, or are you willing to change what you're doing? Right? And for me, it's about speaking up for what you want.
Yes.
How many of us go through a relationship, a job, a situation, anything, where we're not okay with something, with what's being done, and when we say it, and I've learned, I'll talk about me, approaching the situation in a different manner, right? And taking your expectations out of the situation to get to the end. Because you sit there and you say to yourself, okay, let's see what's a good example. I'm not 100% sure, because I feel like if I say one example, it's going to go left real quick. But trying to say things. So if I'm a direct person and I feel like the word I say, like, hey, this is what I want right now. Then somebody's like, well, you could have said it better than that. Like,
do you have to say it like that?
Did you have to say it like that? But for me, it's, do we play this boggle game of, okay, hey, I would really love to be able to do this. Or this is what I want.
Yes.
This is what I want. Like, I want this. And sometimes we have to change how we perceive it, not trying to change the person or what they say, change how you perceive what they're saying, right? Take the time. And it's about, like, it goes back to people saying, oh, you're trying to change me and how I talk and what I do and this and this and this and this. It's not about that. It's about looking at you and how you, what would you have said if somebody said it to you that specific way? And when somebody says, you didn't have to say it like that, your comeback shouldn't be, I didn't say it like that. It should be, you know what? Damn. Like
because
play it back in your head.
People is like, they will match the same tone as you when you come off.
Yes.
And that's the wrong way of going about it. You should always keep a monotone. So I noticed that my cousin popped up there.
He said, tell Uncle Reggie, let me borrow his tie clip. So
yeah.
I can too.
I would love to have him on one day, because he knows a lot about this subject as well. And
well, if he wants to, he can hop on and have a conversation with us. If you're up for it, I can send you the link.
Yeah, I would love to send.
Or we can play the plan. I would like to have Alex on too, but we'll see.
Yes, Alex would be great because these are conversations that I've had with probably both of them. These expectations. But going back to what you said about, there's a lot of times where, and I've had these conversations, is I know you say what you mean. I mean, when you say words have meanings,
It does.
a lot of times, either for, I just like to say for me, what I do is I may say one thing, but that's really not what I meant to say. And I would hope that if I was to say something to you or someone that I love, that you know me well enough to know that I'm not saying it in a negative manner, I guess, or to upset anyone. It's just that's my, what is it? Character?
I'm not
I
sure,
don't know.
but
What's that?
I
But
feel
the things that I say, I don't say things to make people upset. I'm just used to saying things a certain way because of my background, my experience, my upbringing, and everything. Um, and now I've learned to just really think before I speak.
but that's how it should be. Like we
But even then, but even then, sometimes people take it the wrong way.
and the problem with that is the energy you bring when you're in that conversation. So here's the deal. Having a conversation with you and we're saying, I don't like what you just did, right? But I'm telling you I don't like what you just did, but you just came somewhere already in a bad place with somebody else, right? You just got off the phone with somebody else and it was a negative conversation. So when I come in and I say I don't like what you did, your snapback, right, is quick because now you're upset from that conversation you didn't take care of and handle before you came and talked to me and had the conversation with me. So now it's a misunderstanding, right? Because I said, I don't like what you said. What do you mean? And then the instincts is like, what? Why? All I said was I didn't like what you said. But what then the arguments start because you come into a situation not in a good place. And that's why when people argue and when they fight, it's because it's never a calm environment in that argument time, right? So the arguments blow out of proportion because of the fact that you're not coming from a good place. And taking a breath and stepping back is what needs to happen. Yes, Reginald.
For both parties, I think.
It's the energy you bring in all places. I'm not sure why you're getting defensive, sir, because at this
No, I'm not.
you.
No, I'm not being defensive because I see that happening more often than just in a relationship,
Yes,
at work and everything. And I always try to say, okay, what's the fix for this? Because if the person doesn't respond to you the way they want to, and you know that you didn't do anything, then maybe you should just kind of give that person some space.
Yes, but the problem is
don't go get mad at them or
people
her.
get defensive because they instantly take the face value of a situation and an expectation, right? Like you handle you mad at Tom. Don't come over here with your crap because you're mad at Tom. Tom ain't standing here. Don't yell at me. Or dude, you mad at your wife. Don't come out over here snapping off at me because your wife didn't make your sandwich right. Like this place, people come
that
up.
right there may add to the fire.
What? Don't be mad at me because Tom came over here.
Yeah.
I'm not saying to come. That's not what the response I'm saying to tell them. I'm just saying, like, come into a situation with a clear mindset and the energy that you're bringing, right? So if you know you're upset and you know that, because people, when you're damn mad, nobody can tell me that you don't know when you're mad, when you're sad, when you're this, when you're that. Nobody can say that because when you're in a space that's not good. Everybody knows when they're in that space. They choose They choose to continue to sit in that negative space because sometimes maybe they don't know no better, or they don't want to do no better. That's the key right there. People choose their responses and choose where they want to stay in life, and then are mad at the world because they figure the world owes them something more. And it's, Q said, practice the pause when you're upset. People don't know how to do that. They just keep going, 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 and they don't care about the train wreck they leave when they walk down that road. Like, they don't care. Like, somebody be like, what's wrong with her? Or stay out of her way. She look mad. But people shouldn't have to tiptoe or walk on eggshells because you're mad. It should be a point where we say, you know what? And own the part. Like, if that person's mad, so say you come into a situation and y'all talking, nobody's mad, everybody's in a good energy, and then the conversation gets mad. We need to own where we are. Like, own the part we play. Own the part we play in a situation, because every single situation plays two sides, right? It's never a one-sided thing. Like, we come together and we bring negativity together, right? So we talking negative, we talking, everybody talking, we talking at each other, nobody's listening. And then the response is, well, you're not listening to me. You ain't listening to me either. Like, fool, what we doing? Like, we came in here talking and you talking at me, so I started attacking at you. And yes, it don't work. It doesn't. So the master's degree in breathing, breathe it out and take about several damn breaths.
And with that, once you breathe it out and take those breaths, then go back to that person like it ain't nothing happened. You know, I think that's like, hey, you know, everything all right now? Yeah, everything is good.
Yeah.
Okay, appreciate that. I know you were going through some things. I just want to let you know, if you ever need to talk or say anything,
Look,
come let me know, you know.
No,
because a lot of times people have something on their mind that they're trying to figure out
issue
themselves.
still needs to be handled. If you argued about something, sir, the issue still, we not gonna come like, okay, boo, do you feel better because you yelled, baby? Oh no, we still need to handle the issue at hand. It don't just go away. The issues don't go away. It's how we handle the situation. That's where it is. So please don't go over talking about, oh, hey, you all right now? We good? No, we ain't good. We still need to handle.
No,
I cannot.
So there was a tactic that somebody did on me, and I'll never forget. And I've told you about this story where I was, and it worked on me. Ain't that the truth? It worked on me because someone kind of checked me, put me in my place, or what have you, and I was very upset. I was like, I know they didn't. Who did this and that? And then the next day they come to me like nothing ever happened, and I was like, I'm still mad at you. Why are you coming to me like nothing ever happened? Because I think of it as leaders. If there's a problem going on, you address the problem, but you can't hold grudges or anything like that. And say, all right, we fixed this problem. All right, let's move on. Hey, High Speed, how you doing? Or this and that.
But see, hold on, that word, you always come with that grudge.
Yes, because I find that
holding.
We need to get Alex on here. That's for sure. We need to have a group discussion here. Because I have no doubt as to what I'm saying is happening.
It's not a grudge.
Okay, you may not say it's not a grudge, but it is like holding.
You can't tell anybody else what they're doing. Let's start there, right? Because
it's true, but I found it to work. Go ahead.
If somebody, just like you said, people. You come into a situation and you're mad, right? And then the person like, oh, hey, how you doing? Right? Like, let's move on. Hey. No. So it is not about holding a grudge. It's about the energy that they, like the negativity that they brought to you. And if it's a constant negative situation, at some point, either one person needs to take themselves out of the situation and not deal with that negativity, or the other person needs to check where they're coming from every single time. Because the grudge that you're calling it It's not a grudge. It's about somebody choosing not to deal with somebody's BS all the time.
But also, like you said, you have to deal with it, and a lot of times it's not being dealt with based on how you feel like you should have received it, I guess.
Mm,
So it's like you have to meet somebody halfway.
but
It can't be
you
we
see what
need
you just said?
somebody.
You can't move forward without acknowledging the hurt that was caused. Was the hurt ever acknowledged?
Okay, say it was. Say the hurt was acknowledged.
Okay. So
But
why?
someone cannot change overnight.
That's not. That's
So
it.
if they're really trying, but I see this not just in several people's relationships,
Yeah,
and
but
then something happens, and then they bring it all back up.
and
But I
that means
thought that
the
if
hurt
you're
wasn't.
trying to get better in a relationship, that you should be able to
But
just
that means the hurt wasn't acknowledged, right? Because if it comes back up, the hurt was not acknowledged. And if it isn't acknowledged, then that means it's a wound that you continue to keep taking the scab off and making bleed because you want to ignore the fact that the damn cut that was there before ain't healed or it's healing. And you now brought up another issue that just keeps picking away at that scab. And now it's a full-on bloodbath because the initial hurt was not corrected. The initial hurt. So we continue to ignore the initial hurt and the other person's feelings about the hurt because we think they should move on, because we think that they shouldn't bring it back up. That's another expectation we have on somebody and how they're healing, because you can't rush somebody else's healing in anything. And in reality, we sit there and we could say, oh, you should be over that by now. Who are you? Who are you to tell somebody that they should be over anything? Who are we? Our moms dies, our dad dies. Somebody.
So how do you know? How do you know
How
that
do you know
you've actually moved on? How do you know that you repaired that damage or you
You
talked about it?
or
If
me
you have a
or you?
conversation
The
about it,
person or you?
just anyone.
I mean, at this point, it comes to a point where the issues, it's a conversation that happens and the understanding of where that person is coming from, right? So we can sit here and say that I was offended by something. And if I feel like what hurt me is not like somebody saying, I'm sorry I hurt you. For me, that I'm sorry I hurt you isn't if it doesn't feel true to me, it don't matter how many times they say it, because some people just say I'm sorry just to be like, oh, I mean, I said I was sorry. She's still mad. It ain't about being mad. It's about where I am in that place of hurt, because I am not willing to continue to deal with something that hurt me. And that hurt is like to the core, because the hurt started off as a little baby. You know how you fall and scrape your knee and then you put a little band-aid on it and it's good to go. But then you fall again on that same damn cut and now it's a big old gash. And every time you try to put a band-aid on it, it continue to bleed and bleed and bleed, because now you done fell again because you done tripped. So this cut ain't gonna never heal because you keep falling in the same damn place. And for me, that's the only analogy I feel like I can explain to you is I done fell once, I got scratched. I fell again, like
But
literally.
that same person has been trying to help you back up. And
How are they
sometimes
helping?
you end up falling yourself, and it's not the other person's fault.
No, but who's casting blame? Who is casting blame? And
The
that's
person the person that doesn't get over it.
no, not a thing. So you're Jesus help me, because you're being ridiculous right now.
Well, I just, I could see that though a lot of times, and especially just a few weeks ago, I had a conversation with some coworkers at lunch, and there was three ladies there, and they all said that it's in the man's genes. There's genetics, the way that men think, because they don't feel like what the woman wants. And she used an example, like she told him that she wanted a rice cooker.
Okay.
So he bought her something that wasn't a rice cooker because he didn't really think she wanted a rice cooker. So he bought him something more expensive, and then he bought him some jewelry. Well, she's like, that's not what I wanted. You're not listening to me. I said I wanted a rice cooker. You didn't bring me a rice cooker. Well, I thought that this would be better.
So
because a lot of times we think that.
Are we talking about you, or are we talking about somebody at work?
Oh, no, we're definitely not. No. This is a true story, but I did laugh at it. I did laugh at it because I was like, oh my, women do think alike. Women have all these boxes in their head, and none of them are connected, and we only have one box.
Boy, bye. Hold on. Let's stop for a second. Let's talk about the rice damn cooker, right? You ask me what I want, and I've done that to you. You ask me what I want.
Wait, this is not about us.
We doing it, boo. You asked me what I want. I have been very specific of what I want. Yes, and Q said women do not think alike. There may be some instances where we were like, oh yeah, girl, that was right. Like, yeah. But if you ask a woman, what do you want? And she tell you she want a damn rice cooker, go buy a rice cooker. You can make a whole life decision on which rice cooker to buy, but bring a damn rice cooker home. It ain't about subliminal messages. It ain't about, oh, she didn't mean that. She wanted this more expensive piece of jewelry. The woman said she wanted a rice cooker. Stop trying to figure out, well, she must not have meant she wanted a rice cooker. If you ask somebody, what do you want? And they tell you, who in the hell do you think you are to go turn around and tell them they shouldn't want a damn rice cooker? She told you what she wanted, and you chose a conscious decision to go buy her a piece of necklace. What the hell? What's she gonna cook with a necklace? And that's the point of it. Like, give me a rice cooker. I want a rice cooker. Now, I've told you something specific, and you turn around and be like, you must not have really wanted that. I told, like, we're gonna talk about jewelry because that.
Wait, speaking of cooking, it's getting a little hot in here, so we may need to change the subject. Because
listen, I told this man I wanted this specific ring, like a picture.
Let's go there. Let's go there. I'm ready.
Showed it to him. This fool gonna come back with a ring. He's like, well, this ring had more reviews, and I liked this ring better. Fail number one. I said specific. Hey, babe, what would you like? Right? Because it was for our anniversary, right? Hey, babe, what would you like? I want this. That's what I want. Open the box. Oh, don't get me wrong, it was cute, but it wasn't what I wanted.
It was better. It
wasn't what I wanted.
Yeah, I tried to go up. I tried it. Listen, we were here. I went here. And that's better. No, we were here. I went here.
No, fool. Listen, that's not a thing. It's not a thing. Babe, what you want? I want this right. I want this right here. Okay, girl, I'm gonna get you this because this is cuter. No. What I want is this. Then men, right? Because y'all get mad because you don't went out and spend $10,000 and I wanted a $50 damn rice cooker. I'm back on the rice cooker. You think you did something big because you spent $10,000 on something and I wanted a $50 present? Like, the value of the gift has no meaning when you went around what I said I wanted. And that's the bottom line. People always want to say, I see all these damn memes talking about, oh, I'm driving, the woman never know what she want. And then when we tell you, nah, you don't want that. This is better. Babe, this costs more. This is so much more shinier than that rice cooker you wanted. You can't nobody else is going to see that rice cooker, just us. You need this because people are going to see you. And that's what it comes down to. It's like people, it's like you telling me what I want. And then when I tell you what I want, you're like, nah, boo. That I know what you want, girl. I got you. Oh, you got me what I wanted because that's what I wanted. Right? That's no.
But that kind of even takes you into the five love languages,
I
because
mean,
we think that you would want something that we want. That
hey,
happens quite a bit. So
hey, you be like,
that's
oh, I'm
what
about
she
to get
says.
this. What is this? But then men get disappointed when they
I
don't
think
get.
we try to please. It's and I often hear it, you're not listening to what
You're
I'm
not.
saying. You're
You're,
not listening.
you're
You're
not.
hearing, but you're really not listening because I said this.
Yes, you choose to continue to stick with, like you say, oh, men, you're back to your one box mentality, right? Oh, men have one box, women have 10. Okay, but the minute you ask a woman, what would you like? And if she say, I don't know, it doesn't matter, surprise me. Get the $10,000 gift. But if she say she want a toaster, a oven,
Because
a fridge,
because I think we even men tend to think too much. We're like, well, she said she want that, but I'm gonna get her something even better. And that's what we do, because we really try to always please our spouse.
yeah, but don't you think the pleasing part
And
is getting what they want?
but I mean, I don't want to say I have a bad habit of that. I'm kind of getting defensive here because I see I do it to my kids too.
Yes.
I get them. If he wants a push truck, I'm going to give him a remote control Bigfoot.
And then my
That's 10
baby
times
push
the
that
size
remote
of what
control. And yes, Reginald tells
I'm,
RJ that buddy, this one's better. And then when he does what he wants with the truck, don't destroy your toys. I'm not gonna buy you nothing else if you're gonna keep destroying it.
yeah, because you don't push remote control cars.
But then if you didn't buy
But yes, but anyway, I drifted off there. But this whole expectation thing, I'm not sure why you.
Alex said Reginald will hold without a rice cooker.
You know,
I mean,
and since Alex is on the line, you know, I'm not dropping down. But Alex, we had these same conversations when we were leaving it on the trails in Hawaii. We've had this, and even oh wow, Perla is on too, and Perla's on too, which is is the wife of one of my war brothers. Right. So I'm glad to see these individuals on here that basically family and friends is what they are. But I've had most of these conversations I'm talking about, I've had these conversations with either your husband or your friends or someone about these same conversation, and there's a miscommunication between the man and the woman based off of expectations.
yes,
Yes. The five love languages,
yes.
which is really big, which has a lot to do with those expectations. Because there's one that happened the other day, and I just want to say this because it continues to work it's always on my mind. And it was saying that man, I lost my train of thought, but it has something to do about sometimes a man or a woman, they just want to tell you what's on their mind.
Mm-hmm.
They really don't want you to fix it.
Mm-hmm.
They just want you to listen.
Okay.
Because you're their sounding board.
Okay.
And we tend to just always try to come up with a fix. And that fix is like, I just wanted you I don't need you to tell me what the problem is. And it's not just your wife, it's also you have them with your kids or even with your friends. It's like, I just need someone to listen to me when I speak. And on top of that is to also have my back when you're listening to me and not turning it back on me. Meaning that don't sit up here and just try to say, oh, you should do this or you should do that. No, I think I got a plan for it. I just want you to hear me out. Listen to me. Now you're looking at me like, what are you actually saying here?
Well, I think
because I've had this conversation. That's like, well, then next time I won't even bring it up. I'm sorry, I did not understand. You just wanted to talk to me. But if I turn around and did the same thing to you, maybe you wouldn't like it. Now, this is a conversation I've had with a few people, probably within the past month. Because I have always been the type of person who wanted to fix something. So you bring me your problems, and really not a problem, just say, hey, you're my sounding board. I just want to talk to you. Okay, then why are you doing?
Do you start the conversation out as, hey, I have something on my mind. I just want to I just want to tell you what's on my mind, and I'm not looking for a suggestion.
No. And that's probably the problem right there.
It is, because in reality, because sometimes when, like, I don't like the details of stories. I don't want to hear the details.
Straight to the point.
I don't want to hear the build up, like, okay, yeah, but Reginald loves the build up. And
I love the build up because I try to say what's the full story so that you don't come back and ask questions. So I give somebody, and that's another thing that's probably a big difference. Not just with you, just certain people, say our neighbor, who's like, wait, I need to know more about this.
Yeah, hold on, back up. What? Well, this and this, the nitty gritty. Me, I'm like, okay, what do we need to do? How do we do it? Let's move on. Reginald loves well, look at this. This is what happened. This is how I found the problem. This is what I think we should do for the problem to fix it. Oh, and let me look at 10 things to fix this. I am oh, we need to order some new stuff. Okay, let me order it. That we're done. Like, I mean, maybe that may be too a simple explanation, but we all have different ways of seeing things, accepting things, receiving things, doing things, everything, right? So I may quick get to the point. I don't want to hear the rest of the story. Like, give me the meat and potatoes, right? Like, I don't need the side vegetables or how it was cooked and how it was this. You love the meat and potatoes. But starting a conversation, like coming out, like you expect somebody to receive and perceive what you're giving them in the way you want it to, right?
That's right.
You just want to say, hey,
hear me out.
I was driving down the road today, and this lady was crossing the street. She had on this funny dress. I don't know what it was, but everybody was looking at her, so I was looking at her too. For me, I'm like, okay, where the hell is the story going? Like, did the lady get hit? Did the lady die?
I need you to picture it. People need you to picture it. You have to paint the picture.
The damn lady crossing the street.
But I feel
like perception,
right? And just I hate to keep saying I've had this conversation with people, but I have, because I asked them, says, so one of them said, there's somebody coming to cut his palm trees now. He said, and I know when they get there that my wife is going to be there. And I know she's not going to ask these questions because she will just want to get straight to the point.
That's me. You talking about me?
No, I'm not talking. See, I am not talking about you.
Listen, that's me.
I'm talking about a guy who I talk to pretty much every day.
Okay. Because that's me. Reginald be like,
I says, because I'm already thinking about, okay, if they come out my trees, I want to make sure that, first of all, I will probably get them back in three months from now. Hey, can I start booking you 3 months? I'm already thinking about the next plan of action and how I can save. Hey, if I get them for the next 3 every quarter for the next year or two, then perhaps I can save some money. And I don't think it's so. I'm like, okay. So he calls and he says, well, did you ask him this? Yeah, I said, no, I didn't. I didn't ask him that. He just came to cut. I'm like, that is the kind of detail planning that.
And Q said, set the expectations up front, and you kill a lot of the communication problems. Now, and that's the thing, right? Because I thought he was talking about us, because that's what we do, right? Somebody's coming to the house to do something. He's at work. I'm here. Babe, did you ask him this? What did he say about this? I'm like, what the hell you mean? I didn't ask him nothing. You were the one that made this appointment. You the one that did this. I would have expected, right? My expectations, your expectations, my expectations. You would have handled it with that man before he brought his behind to my house. But it's always the detail part of it. Like, I want you set it up to come cut, we move on. The thing, well, that's like getting when you make a pre-appointments, right? So you said, he gonna come back this day. Yes, that's a pre-appointment you did before the man showed up at the house, not when he shows up. So that's just like me going to get my nails done. I make appointments, right? You make an appointment. You do it every 2 weeks. You come. The woman got the calendar, and people kill me with this. They go to make they go to their appointment, whatever it is. They leave and they don't make their follow-up appointment. But then they mad when the person ain't got an appointment for their next 2 weeks. But you knew you needed a 2-week appointment on the day you went in for your appointment. Why didn't you make that appointment right then and there? It cuts out all the, oh, hey, you got an appointment? Oh no, man, my nails can't go for another week. I can't wait. But if you pre-plan, and that's with everything in life, right? We come out, the tree man. We call the tree man. Hey, can you come cut the tree? Okay. How often should I get this done? Okay, can we make my appointment now so I can schedule it so we can get this appointment so it could be a standing appointment? And that's what it boils down to, right? We got all these questions on a sideline instead of making things aware at the moment, because we continue to play this.
Yeah, it's at the end of the day, you just have to point your finger back at you.
But then you get mad.
Because not no
This-
because I a lot of times, at least for me, I try to get both involved. So I'm like, well, you handle this instead of everything. I'm not sure exactly where I'm going with this.
But I feel like you talk about
And
it.
I feel
And-
I feel like the more I talk, the more I'm just digging myself into a big hole. So I'm just not even gonna go there.
Come on out the hole, boo. Come on out the hole. Because
No, I just feel like this whole communication, this everything we've been talking about is communication.
yes. And
But
sometimes
even with communication, I just thinking about old people, because you see these old people that's been married all these years, and even then they're old, sitting on the couch, complaining about everything in life, and just basically yelling at each other. They still love each other. Why? Because they've been through it. They know that we're about to have an argument about this. I'm not going anywhere. So let's just get it over with, because in 15 minutes, yeah, that's the way. So I believe you should never be mad longer than a certain time. I just think that, me personally, I wake up the next day, I'm great. I have, hey babe, how's it going? What's wrong? Like, I don't even remember yesterday, and I hate to say that, not to say it, as far as, here's what you've said, and I'm sure you're not the only one that says, and I'll never forget this, and I always say that because I try to learn from my mistakes.
Yep.
But when you said what's important to me should be important to you,
so
and I'm thinking,
okay.
go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No. I'm
So when I say, like, what I feel is important to me, right, as my husband, it shouldn't be swept away like it's not important, right? So if I state that this is important to me, something I want you to support me in, something I want this thing in, it's about, I guess it's back to my expectations, right? That you would support me in what's important to me, because it showed, that's my way of grasping that you do. Maybe love is not, loving me is a broad statement, right? Because I can't judge how you love me, right? Because I could say, oh, you don't love me because you did this. But what's important to me as my husband, it should be important for you to help me get to where I want to be, right? Because if I say I got this dream, I got this thing I want, isn't it something you would expect me to do and support you in what you want to? Like, shouldn't it, like, you got these dreams, shouldn't it be where I'd be like, oh yes, that should be important to me too, right?
yes.
But finish where you're going with your story.
No, so even then, and even going back to love, because I've read this where it says, when not just you, just anyone say, you don't love me, I can come back and say, I do love you.
And
But this is all the love that.
That's what I just said. Like, I can't.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
Yes, but if I'm giving you the only love that I know how to give you, then how do we move forward from there?
Be willing to look at what I'm saying to you, right? Back to communications, right? Because if I state, let's find an example. Give me an example of what you're saying.
I don't know, what's the audience say out there, because I know that a lot of them's going through it, unless they just
anything. So we need you.
Yeah, because they know they would probably get in trouble too.
Bring up the
topic.
Like, let's talk about it.
Like, no, they're like, no, I don't, because a lot of times, and you know this, when we have these type of conversation and there's a group around us, nobody is willing to get in on this,
conversation
discussion that we're having.
Okay.
I tend to be alone, but when we leave,
everybody like, oh man, you were right, bro.
They all come out and say, man, you were right. I just can't believe you brought that up.
Okay, well, let me just bring it up. Oh, let's do it. Just bring it up. Just do it. Do it. Okay. So I'm going to state that people have different love limits, not by choice. It's taught. So for me, I feel like I now know now, like before, yes. Right? Because now is all I can talk about. My expectations, when I cannot say you don't love me. I cannot say that. All I can say is the way you did what you did, the action you took did not feel loving. Alex said people show values very differently. It's difficult for values to be matched. Remember your thing. I love you, but it's your thing. That's right. And it just is.
Because I give you if I'm loving you the way, so in relationships, we tend to give you love and expect that same love in return. But it can't be that way.
It can't, because we all love differently and we all put it out differently. Yes, because the love we see, and that goes back to love languages, right? The love, the way you see that I love you isn't the way that I'm giving you love, but that doesn't take away from the love that I have, right?
Yeah, because I want you to come up and give me some hugs.
Exactly. And you be the first person talking about I love you more than you love me, right?
I think that my actions show it more.
But you can't say that you love me more than I love you, because of the fact that the way you're perceiving the love you want. So Michael said, understanding love languages is a big key to understanding the other person's expectations. Yes. And therefore, you can't say you love me more than I love you because of how you perceive the love that I'm giving you. And that's going back to showing personal love in their love language, right? Because if you were getting it, Q said in a relationship, you have to learn to love your partner the way they need to be loved. Love languages. So, but
I knew I like Q. I knew it.
A lot of people they have no clue about love languages. That's the problem.
Right, they don't. I didn't. I'm just going to be honest. And I like to just admit that. I did not, because I've learned a lot. I've learned a whole lot. And I always tell people, you need to understand the love language of your spouse. Because if you don't, you're going to end up taking that same
stale, nasty negativity from one relationship.
Wait, I wasn't going to say all that now.
I mean, you paused for...
But you would take it from one relationship to another, and it's never going to get any better. And I've learned to say, okay, what is it that my wife truly loves? And if I give it, what is that?
Q said, "Don't bring me." Q said, "Don't bring me flowers. Watch a horror movie with me." Reginald would never watch a horror movie with you.
I would never watch a horror movie because I like to keep happy thoughts at all times.
And then Michael said, "I had to learn a lot too, bro. I'm with you." We sit in a place. Go ahead.
Every and maybe this is another session because I already know we're kind of past time, but most people that I know or men that I know they love the physical touch, and we expect our women to feel the same way.
Yes,
but it's not the case. But now, thanks to that book, if you figure out that love language of your spouse, you can get everything that you want. Remember that.
Wait, I was talking to one of I have a friend, Meredith. She said that men are like dogs and women are like cats. Men want attention, hug me, pet me, love me, and women are like, touch me when I want to be touched, go about your business when I'm not in the mood. And that analogy right there was the best way to put it because it's true. I mean, not all men. When you calculate how many men's love language is touch, their highest number, because in the book, if nobody's ever read it that's looking, in the book, it tells you specifically, like, if you get this high number, this is what it is. This is your second, third, like it builds it up. But a lot of men, their first one is touch. So it's about knowing, and for you,
we're like lions.
No. I said a damn dog when we're lying. What? But y'all see how? But you want to go talk about the lion? But you see how when a woman, what's the lioness is ready to mate, and she ready all times, and that lion ain't ready. I mean, you could claim that lion complex
because that lion is out there doing work. That lion is out there putting a lot of time in.
Boy, bye. Come on.
So when
okay, but let's get focused. The point of it is knowing who you are, and knowing in the relationship, you have to know you before you are you can put anything out there. Like, oh, you don't love me. Girl, do you know you first? Like, that's the thing. Like, even with the man, do you know you first? Be willing to know who you are before you go into anybody relationship. Because if you a hotmess.com outside a relationship, you're gonna be a hotmess.com inside. And then you're gonna be like, people, I can't find a relationship. Do you know how to be with yourself? That's what you need to see. Do you know how to be with yourself? Look, sometimes I know how my wife wants to be loved, and I still don't, just because. Come on, Michael, you gotta do better. Like, whoo. Q said, technically, the lioness feeds the pride. Hello.
Yes, they do, and I figured someone was probably gonna say that. So I just
the lioness feeds most of the day. This is who he bragging to be, y'all. He a lion
because the lion is there for show. They know that with the lion just being there, no one's gonna mess with him. No one's gonna mess with his pride, because that lion is there, is standing tall. He's doing what he gotta do.
Letting his woman go out there and get her meat. Oh God, I cannot. You should have stuck with my dog analogy, but you know what? It's all good. You took it there. But anyway.
Yeah. It's all good. That's right.
Oh, okay. But anyway, so I wanted to talk about time wasters, but we're gonna move on. We'll talk about that next week. I appreciate everybody watching, interacting with us, and we'll be here. And I would love for whoever would like to join us on any conversation and bring their 2 cents in. Alex, where you at? Your 2 cents.
It's not just Alex. It's Q. It's Michael.
Yeah,
It's a
everybody
lot of people. I wish I'm just waiting for someone to get on that
thinks like you.
plays both sides too. Not just I was about to say my side, but no, I because it's people need to hear, like, we're not the only ones that go through things. There's other people out there that's going through and they're sitting on the sideline. So so we need to talk about it. We really need to talk about it. Because it's going to help a lot of people that are out there who are struggling in relationships, struggling at work, struggling with not trying to just understand or have these expectations of others that they shouldn't be having, because it's their expectation. It's not the other person's expectation. Because I think we all have that problem, and I know I have it daily. And you've seen it in me today. You said that was your expectation. Yeah, that is my expectation. But I would hope and assume that that's just not my expectation. That should be yours too. If you want a business to I'm sorry, stutter, a business to succeed, then that should be your expectation too. But it's not, because they probably don't own the business. They're just working in the business. So they're not going to have that much interest and not want their business to really to excel like it could, because they just want to get paid.
I mean, fast money. People, they don't build that foundation to get where they need to go.
That is true.
But
so right now, I'd like to thank you for having me on, and I'm going to do my best to fill up your love tank. I'm staying closing out with that.
I would get on, but I'm picking up the kids at the time I like y'all's talks, whatever schedule. All right. So we could schedule some time. We could even if, so we come on at 5:00 Eastern Central Time every Wednesday, and have a discussion. I'm thinking about, yes, you need
Eastern time.
Yes, Eastern Time, 5 p.m. Eastern Time, and have a conversation. We can have an ad lib time. We can adjust some times. We can, if we want to have conversations. I'm all about working around people's schedule and coming on, and we're still going live.
And with that, you will find out that it actually, even though you're speaking to the public, you're actually helping your own relationship out, because there's things that you need to have these conversations in a group so that you can understand that you may not normally understand. And it's helped me.
It's everybody, you're just like, oh, why you think like that? But a lot of people think that way, and a lot of people respond certain ways. So it's not just like, you crazy, why you thinking like that? Oh, but no, she think like that too. Oh, he think like that too. Oh, wait. It just needs to come from somebody else, because you think you're the only one in the boat and you're stuck in.
Yes, and I felt like that a lot. All right, I'm done.
I can't. All right, y'all. We'll be back next Wednesday, or we'll see if we plan a time. We'll get somebody to come on with us and have these conversations and see where we go. Have an amazing night.